Everyone's heard of the 1666 Great Fire of London. But did you know there was also a Great Fire of Northampton less than 10 years later? Well, lots of local children do.
In 1675, a small fire broke out in a house on St Mary's Street near Northampton Castle. This would have been a fairly forgettable occurrence if the fire had not burnt down almost the entirety of Northampton. Thanks to a beautiful summer, the kind you actively wish for, the entirety of Northampton was at peak flammability due to the major building work at the time being wood. The fire spread rapidly, with some saying it was faster and more ferocious than the Great Fire of London. Not to brag, just a fact. People started to remove the furniture and items from their home to protect them. Now, whilst this may have felt wise, much like the major construction material of the day, the latest household goods and wares were also constructed, in most part, from good old flammable wood. So whilst they succeeded in not having their possessions burn in their homes, they helpfully placed a large amount of fuel into the streets of Northampton, causing the fire to spread wildly. Some also thought it best to move their possessions into the market square, which was in the midst of ongoing construction and full of the major construction material of the time. Around 75% of the town was razed to the ground within about 6 hours. As the fire subsided, the townspeople worried that the fire would flare back up and claim the rest of the town. Then, 3 rainbows appeared in the sky, and a great downpour landed upon the town, putting out the fires, which Reverend John Conant reasoned as divine intervention, and not a cold front meeting the hot front that had clearly been there from the hot summer. But to be fair, Descartes had only just invented meteorology, and no one in town owned a barometer. Well, there was probably one, but whoever owned it has remained rather quiet. But after this, the people of Northampton came together in an incredible example of community spirit. The people of Northampton, and later the whole country, came together to rebuild the town. Aristocracy from all the surrounding areas, led by the Earl of Northampton, gave money for the rebuilding, and the king himself donated 1,000 tons of timber. Also, this gave the town an opportunity to rebuild with modern construction techniques, completely remodelling Northampton into a modern world-class town. With writers like Daniel Defoe, no relation, calling it the most handsomest and best-built town in all this part of England, and Celia Fiennes, possibly a relation, saying a large town well built, with streets as large as most in London, seems an odd compliment, but she was popping by on one of her many side-saddle tours of England. So after all this, though the fire may have ravaged the buildings, it clearly left untouched the community spirit and forward-looking vision of Northampton. So I suppose the question this asks is, if Northampton burnt down again, what would it take to bring it back to life?
What magic spell would conjure up the town of Northampton?
A dash of culture, splash of theatre, and a healthy helping of community.
A dollop of market, the stomp of a sheep, and a 3,000 workers' boots laced between 3 Bauhaus riffs. All Saints in Rhodes, a legion of friars, and 3 witches burnt on Northampton's pyre.
A fistful of rebellion, a soul full of singing, a lot of laughs, a cup full of creation, a bench of beauty, and a whole world full of positive energy.
A nod to the past, 'cause history should last. A rose for the shires, and better protection against fires.
Or, if you don't believe in magic,
If Northampton was a cake, what would its ingredients be? That's an interesting question, actually. Immediately, my mind went to fruitcake. Why? I think with Northampton, maybe with the ingredients, it would be a little bit of everything, and that's why I say fruitcake. Because you've got lots of different bits of culture and from lots of different people in lots of different places kind of coming together all over in one kind of place. And I think something like a fruitcake or like that type of ingredient, something with a lot going on within it, but still very rich within itself. Tasty.
Community, creativity, collaboration and culture.
There's a rich history here, and people often don't realize it and don't see the towns and its people's resilience. It's the community, a melting pot of cultures, ages, experiences. I love it.
The smell of the Carlsberg factory, the lift tower, the Eiffel Tower of Northampton, and the creative community.
What's the spot in Northampton that's meaningful to you and why? Probably the racecourse, because I grew up living on one side of it, so it was almost like our front garden. So we just had all of that to play in when we were kids, and yeah, it's still a very focal point of my life. Like I still live very close to the park. Lots of my family and friends live around it, and yeah, it has a lot of memories for me there. It's a great park, I love it.
Let's celebrate what's distinctive about our town. The culture and arts, heritage, dissent and resistance, our independent spirit and our great sports teams. Big city lights don't bother me.
We're quirky and different, everything that MK isn't.
I'd save Northampton's bolshy spirit.
If I had the opportunity to rebuild the town, I'd build it round the river.
My wish is that people are happy. It's people that make the town.
What makes Northampton unique? The people, the marketplaces, the town itself, all the wonderful shops. It's just a wonderful place to be.
Northampton and its community is what it is because of its heritage, especially with the shoe industry. All of my grandparents worked in the shoemaking factories, and it's something they were all proud to be part of. It's important to protect that.
Everything that I've ever known is here.
It's just a very diverse place, cultural place. We can just meet anyone. It's just good to see a lot of families coming together.
People are friendly. It's not really a lot I would change. The place looks good with the new renovations in the marketplace and the trees and bits down the main shopping bit. It's just not a lot I would actually change, to be quite honest. It's just a great place.
As another great animator once said, if you can dream it, you can do it. So what are our hopes and dreams for our town? Can we write our future into the history books? Northampton, what are we made of?